Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. This is Ev from Holistic Healing Astrology, and today we're going to talk about retrogrades. We have a few retrogrades during this month, and this year we're going to have quite a few retrogrades, so we'll be experts about retrogrades by the end of 2021. But what I want to talk to you today about is the specific retrogrades. And everybody knows about Mercury retrograde because that's when everything goes haywire, they say. It's mainly about communication. So let's back up a little bit and learn a little bit about retrograde. What does that mean? It's just in theory. It's not really the planet going backwards. It just appears to go backwards in the astrological sign eclipse. So without getting technical, it's just a term meaning that it appears to go back into certain parts of the path where they were traveling before. So let's do this in chronological order. Now, Pluto has been retrograde from, let's see now, I'm going to look at my notes. From April 29th, 2021, Pluto in Capricorn is retrograde. But Pluto has been in Capricorn from the year 2008 and will stay there until the year 2024. So just want you to understand, it's a slow moving energy pattern. I think of it like a huge iceberg moving along. Pluto and energy is very transformative. Think of an earthquake or what happens with a tsunami. It's massive, but actually it's slower. So it's like an earthquake in very, very slow motion. You see it coming, you know it's happening, but you can't stop it. And it's very transformative because it ends and then it makes room for beginnings. That's transformation, major changes. That's what Pluto is all about. I have about 25 keywords for Pluto, but that's a benefit of having a chart reading so we could interact and find out what exactly is the energy to you and how it relates. So the degrees, if you have your chart in front of you, they're little symbols, and the degrees are the little numbers. So we have to look out for 26 to 24 degrees in Capricorn. If you have any signs, any earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, with those degrees, 26 to 24 degrees, you're going to feel that effect. Also Cancer, if you have anything with 26 or 24 degrees, and that would be a major stress or major work involved. So that's the first one. So that one's kind of been going on for a while. Then the second one in order will be a Saturn retrograde. Saturn is the planet of responsibilities, isolation, and it's in the sign of Aquarius, which has to do with higher learning, humanitarianism, rebellion, genius, things of the future, things like that. So one consciousness. So we're probably looking at more humanitarian responsibilities that we need to look at collectively as a whole. And we're looking at the specific degrees of 13 to 6 degrees in Aquarius. So if you have any of those degrees, 13 and 6 degrees in a fire sign, which would be Libra, Gemini, Sagittarius, that's Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, then that would be a flowing type aspect. You maybe be proactive in that area, but it's something that we're going to be considering because it's retrograde. So we're reviewing, reconsidering, reapplying, reissuing, all that. So let me give you some words for retrograde. I'm going to back it up a little bit just so we get a clear understanding what is a retrograde. So that's when we redo, we review, we reflect. You could rebuild, you could recollect, reimburse, reiterate, renew, repeat, replace, rewrite, reconsider. So all those re is going to be in the energy of discipline, maturity, responsibility, the hard work, the father, the government, the structure, all that we're going to be rethinking or reevaluating all those things. I mean, I feel that we are. And now we're looking at the future, because especially after COVID, you know, we are taking our responsibilities in the electronic futuristic way. We don't have to go to work anymore with a structure of driving the car, being in a building. That's a structure. Now we do it over the airwaves, the way I'm communicating with you. In the past, we'd sit around in a hall or a lecture area, and I would speak to you and you would learn it that way. But thanks to technology, I could sit right here in my space and give you all the information that you need so you could digest everything. So it is a time with Saturn, May 24th, and it's going to go on for about 8 months, okay? Just so you know, that's another slow energy. It's not going to happen overnight. Why do people obsess about the Mercury retrograde? It's because it's quicker, and you feel it, and you see the results quicker. May 31st, we're going to have Mercury retrograde in its ruling sign of Gemini, which makes it stronger, and it's going to be more powerful, and it's between 24 to 16 degrees in Gemini. So if you have any of those degrees or planets between 24 and 16 degrees, or 25 to 14 degrees, you're going to feel it, especially if it's in Virgo, Pisces. You're going to feel conflict, anxiety, discomfort, because it's going to happen again. You know, the past discomforts and anxieties that we felt when Mercury was in Gemini are going to resurface again. So now we're going to redo it. You're going to have to redo things, but it's a reflective time. It's not a bad thing. So before you do any major signing of contracts, reread it. Before you do your airline ticket, review it. Make sure it's correct. Before you do any kind of an agreement and sign on the dotted line, have your attorney look at it. It's just a time to look at things more carefully and to contemplate and to think slower. And because that's what's happening, the planet Mercury spins very, very quickly. And I don't know if you've ever tried to stop something with your bare hands that's spinning, especially something metallic, metal, and you try to stop it. There's friction there, and you feel the effects. It burns. So what happens is that Mercury not only is spinning forward and travels very quickly, think of a car going very fast, but then it's got to go backwards. Well, it's not just going to go backwards. It has to slow down. Well, you tell Mercury to slow down. That's very, very uncomfortable for Mercury. Mercury's all fast, fast, fast. So just the act of slowing down Mercury, it's like slowing down the Niagara Falls, going over the cliff there. It's not, you can't do it. I mean, you're going to hurt yourself trying to slow down Mercury. So it's an uncomfortable feeling. So that period where the planet is slowing down to a stop is going to be at 16 degrees Gemini. And when that happens, it's going to be there for how many days now? Let me see. I think it's like, let me check my notes. 9 days, it's in 16 degrees of Gemini. So anyone having these degrees on the chart, just look and see, because it's going to be intense. You're really going to feel it, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but you'll get through it because it goes by quickly. There'll be now, if it's in the sign of Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it will be that will be an easier time, because there'll be a flow of information coming to you, and you'll be able to digest it, and it will come, but it will come in a big wave of lots of information. I call it information overload. But I was born with a Mercury retrograde in Gemini. So I'm a natural when it comes to that. I mean, I love information overload. You know, that's why I'm a great researcher. That's why I totally enjoy doing these astrological charts, because it is tedious and there are a lot of details. I mean, I mean, just putting these reports together for you people is hours and hours of tedious work, looking at all these charts and then going across and make sure that I read it correctly. So it's good information though, and it's worth having, but someone's got to do it. But people like me, you know, we enjoy doing that, and then we enjoy networking and sharing that information, because I'm also a Gemini sun. So that's the bottom line with the Mercury retrograde. So embrace it. It happens 3 or 4 times a year. We'll get through it. It's a great time to reflect, and it's a great time to meditate and get little messages and look for signs, because Mercury is about communication. But it's not just the written and the heard communication. It's also what you see and what you perceive. So that is very important, because I like to always touch on the invisible world. You know, my son is in the 8th house, which has to do with the invisible world and all the unknowns, the mysterious stuff that impacts on our psychology and who we are and how we tick as human beings. That's a little bit about me, and if you're curious about you and what astrology has for you, just, you know how to get in touch with me. You could schedule a consultation just to see what kind of service that would be best for you. Just do it right on my website or give me a call. If I'm available, I'll pick up. If I'm doing a reading, I won't be able to pick up. So the last thing I wanted to say for you, it's not a retrograde, but it acts like a retrograde. So I just thought I would share that with you, and that is your lunar eclipse. That energy is just like a retrograde, all the review. But the lunar eclipse, now lunar, the moon, has to do with emotions, feelings, security, your mother, nurturing, all that stuff, your moods. That has to do with the moon. And it's very cyclical. I mean, every 28 days, that moon spins right around the astrology chart. So if you want to see exact positions where the moon is, just check my Instagram, follow that, and you'll see on a daily basis where the planets are shifting. And then you could follow in your chart and even see, hey, the moon is in this sign, and I notice that people are in a hurry and they're a little abrupt and rude. But then I noticed that when the moon is in Pisces, things could get a little fuzzy, and maybe we see with rose-colored glasses and we feel like, oh, everything will be all right, and not kind of care so much, put our head in the sand. So I like to chart that, and then I use that data and information, because I'm very analytical, and I go, you know what? Well, when the moon goes in this particular sign, I'm going to do these particular activities because they work better. So it's like a little roadmap. You don't have to do it but I think it's a lot of fun, and I get my clients to do it, and it's really interesting. And that's more of a forecasting tool too. So astrology is good to understand your natal chart. That was the blueprint of what strengths and challenges you may have at the moment you were born. It gives you a little roadmap of this is how you are, this is how you could be. There's also free will, but then we have the predictive side of astrology, where you take the planets where they are this moment in time and you compare it. So with that lunar eclipse, it's going to be in 5 degrees Sagittarius. So a lunar full moon eclipse. So the full moon always means that the sun is opposite the moon. And that's always like a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of balancing. And what you do is on a full moon, you could check out my other video on new moon, full moon rituals, and see how you could release any things that don't serve you, whether it's a limiting belief that you discovered, whether it's a toxic relationship, whether it's a workplace situation that you want to get rid of, anything that you want to release, or even get rid of some extra clutter around the house that you don't need anymore, or release toxic foods that don't serve you, or just letting go, and maybe making some changes. So with the lunar eclipse, it's more intense. It lasts about 6 months, and it's in the sign, like I said, of Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, it's a fiery sign, but it has to do with the fire, like way out there in the universe. The stars are twinkling, that light that you see out there. Everybody sees a star. So that's a type of energy. It's free, it's big, it's universal, it's higher learning, it's knowledge, it's wisdom, that kind of thing. And it's opposite Gemini. And Gemini has to do with actual learning and knowledge, but not knowledge, learning facts. And the difference between the two is Sagittarius has to do with the knowingness, the knowledge, the philosophy, and the wisdom. Like it's already internalized, you get it. But the Gemini is all the little details of pulling everything together, and then you synthesize and create your philosophy, and then you have this understanding and the knowledge. So it's also a very transformative time and a very reflective time. It's also when the unconscious feelings come to the surface. So when they do come to the surface and you see that that's what is going on, and you've been harboring all these emotions, maybe it's a time to let go. You sure might feel better. So if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or which is Holistic Healing Astrology, or you could just hop on my website and sign up for the newsletter, and then just click on the YouTube channel icon and the Instagram. You'll get far more information. And I just started a blog, so I have these rituals and more reference sheets for you that you could look at. And thank you again. Please share and like these videos, and tell your friends about it. And if you'd like a reading, please contact me. And my name is Ev. Have a wonderful retrograde season. Till the next time.